Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
And welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of Sports Shorts, presented by LeBear's Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge. LeBear's now open 24 hours a day, 365. Go check them out. 18 Steak, Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, Bon Temps Buffet, and they're all waiting for you. Joining me right now, and that's not Joel Davis. That is Chad Blue, and we're going old school, original Sports Shorts. How are you, buddy?
Oh, Ronnie, so good to be home, man. I tell you, what an incredible experience, and glad to be back, man. It's good to see your face.
You too, and no old desk.
No.
We got a little bit of a new. We're 6 feet apart. We always were apart at the old desk, but got a little bit of a new set. Good to see you.
We were 15 feet apart on the other one.
I think. I want to say it was 2011, right?
It was 2011.
Yeah, so about 9 years ago, a little over 9 years ago, that Chad and I started doing Sports Shorts TV, and then a year later or so did Sports Shorts Radio. So Chad will be with us for the first 3 quarters of the show, and then Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com will be here next to talk a little LSU recruiting and whatnot. But Chad always with a good opinion, and a lot to say. So we'll get to it right now. And I never thought, when we started this whole Chinese virus thing, I never thought it would last as long as it has in the United States of America, that sports, which is what we talk about mostly on this show, we would have now gone basically 4+ months without the major sports, football, baseball, basketball. I know we just now got back into soccer and whatnot, but we are staring down the barrel of almost 4 months of no major sports. Questionable on whether there's going to be fans in the stands for any sports before the first of the year. But yet somehow we get by and we survive and we realize, you know what? As much as sports is important and as much as we, especially back before COVID, it was a daily thing.
Sure.
I think we realize now, you know what? Kind of live without it?
Yeah.
I mean, is that crazy to say?
Well, I think, for me, a big addition has been golf. I love golf. I just started playing golf. I suck at golf, but I have a fine appreciation of the game of golf. So golf coming back online has really been therapeutic for me. Tiger's going to tee off on Thursday. Can't wait for that. I think probably the highest ratings in the history of golf, being all the circumstances. Yeah, Ronnie, I tell you, for me, just like you, I'm a fanatic. I love sports. It hit me right in the gut. I mean, women's softball, I absolutely love at LSU. LSU baseball, I love. Basketball season was, progressing along. We were going to make the big dance, and then gone. I don't know that I've gotten used to it, but I have a bigger concern about football season and what's going to happen to it, and I'm not sure my stomach can take that. I've kind of adjusted, like you said. When football season comes around, boy, that's going to be a real test.
I tell you, LSU, by the way, for people that don't know, they haven't really quite figured out some of the financial stuff behind the scenes on how they're going to handle how they're handling basketball season coming to an end, baseball, softball. And what I mean by that is Sports Properties, which is a company that a national company that pays LSU millions and millions of dollars every year, guarantees them for their marketing rights. So like when you go to the bathroom and you look up from the urinal and you see that advertising in front of you, that's Sports Properties. If you walk in through the stadium and you see any advertising on the side, or you hear an announcement, or you look up on the scoreboard, or and there's a commercial, or you're back of the ticket and there's a sponsor coupon, all of that is what Sports Properties does. And what they do is they guarantee LSU X amount of millions of dollars per year. LSU doesn't have to lift a hand to get that money, and then of course it's their job to go make the guaranteed money and then hopefully make a profit beyond that so that they can make money. They haven't even figured out how much of a break are we giving LSU, or hey LSU, we can't give you the whole amount. There's so many financial things behind the scenes. There's so many financial things behind the scenes that they have yet to figure out before we even move into this next phase, which is possibly football without fans.
Well, and Yamaha's developing now a really neat app where you can log in on the app. Now, I don't know if it'll be ready this season. Hopefully it will. But if we play football, where you can go in and log into your football game and make noise through the phone, and it projects into the stadium. That's actually happening right now, and that's going to be a really neat feature. Look, and I didn't mention this earlier. Look, you and I talk about sports. We talk about the pain of losing it, and for us who are fanatics, it's been painful. But man, there are a lot of people suffering right now, and who have lost their life. And it seems almost trivial for us to be sitting there, concerned about football games and baseball games. But it's just who we are, Ron. It's a part of our fabric. It's been woven into our brains, man, especially down here in the South. And it's been a challenge for sure.
And obviously we want to send out a special shout out to Victor Howell, a guy that I've worked with over the years, and mostly with CST. Victor Howell was in the hospital, even in ICU. A guy I think is 50 years old. He played college basketball at Tulsa, and of course has done a great job back in the day at WAFB, and then over the years at CST and others. And Victor spent a couple days in ICU. Has been fighting off the COVID for about over 2 weeks now.
Wow.
And he's back at home, and but he posted a video on Facebook a couple days ago. And had labored breathing, was coughing still. And been dealing with it. So it affects everybody differently. Some people get it and they don't have any effects.
Sure.
Obviously, Victor was the extreme case, went into the hospital, didn't have to go on a ventilator or anything like that. But so prayers and thoughts to him and any other families out there that are going through this tragedy.
I have a question for you. I've been thinking about this, and this football season coming up, and it's not a trick question. I'm just curious your thoughts. You're close to the program. You know how all this stuff works. You've been a part of the LSU family. How do you, let's say LSU is number one team in the country, okay? 4 weeks into the gig. All of a sudden, the quarterback gets coronavirus, right? 4 or 5 of the offensive linemen get the coronavirus. What happens? Do we cancel the game? Do we run backups out there? I think that's the part of it that's really got me perplexed is, I want to play, but, is LSU going to have to cancel? Is LSU going to have to run their third-team quarterback out there against Alabama?
The reality is that if you're going to play the season, and look, right now the SEC, as we tape this show, the SEC offices and athletic directors, we're actually taping this show on Tuesday, July 14th. Yesterday, on July 13th, they met as a group, all the ADs and the conference commissioner, to start to talk about what are we going to do and all the different options. If you're going, I think what you're going to see, and they haven't announced this yet, but my guess, based on we see the Pac-10, Pac-12, and the Big Ten have already said we're only going to play conference games. Okay, I think that you're going to probably see the SEC fall in line, or other big conferences fall in line. Now, I think the caveat to that is I think the SEC may allow the schools to have the option to play out of conference, but on an individual option basis. Meaning, we're not going to mandate that LSU doesn't play the University of Texas. If LSU and Texas want to play, that's up to you. But I think you're going to probably see the SEC play conference games and maybe more conference games. Instead of 8, maybe they go to 10 conference games. And then
we extend rosters, though? Do you? In other words, instead of having...
But it's not like pro football where you can just go grab a guy off the street. You can't. They have to be in school. So you can expand. Maybe you can expand the roster. You walk down the hall and you're a big guy. Come here.
That's my point. If you've got a 45-man quarantine at Florida, which is getting bombarded right now. It's just the complexities of this thing, man. And you talk about the financials and all this other stuff. It doesn't seem to me that there's as much as I want it. It just seems to me that the complexities of all this may be a bit too much to bear, and we may have to bite the bullet and lose a season. Hey, now listen, God knows I don't want that.
I don't think that's going to happen. And here's why I think that's not going to happen. It's ticket sales, suites, the tickets, club, all that, only make up about 18% of the revenue for LSU football. The other 82% comes from their TV contracts and whatnot. So there you go. Yeah. You want 82% a month something, or you want nothing?
Yeah.
So, hey, nobody in the stands. Which, by the way, I don't have to pay all the staff and all the other people, all the other expense that comes with it.
That,
All right, so you're saving a little. So maybe that 18 comes down to 15 or something, right?
Yeah.
But the point is that if 80% of your revenue comes from TV, that's your answer. Okay,
yeah. They're
gonna play games without fans.
You think
at minimum
college football? No
Absolutely, I think big time college football, the SECs of the world, the big Power 5 conferences are going to play football.
Lower levels, you think they'll stay?
Lower levels may go to the spring. They may sit out a year. They may play a few games. They may do something like that. But I think LSU's going to play. They just won't be any fans. That's my guess. Okay, because 80%, 82% is a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, when there's a lot of money on the line,
and the ratings are going to go through the roof.
Sure. And you're going to have your little Yamaha app pumping in sound.
I mean, look, the bottom line is Thursday through Sunday football, SEC football. I mean, especially if they maybe go to 10 games instead of 8, or the LSU Texas game, no fans, but I mean that's a TV game. Yeah. LSU Texas is a big time TV game.
Yeah.
So
and like you say, the ratings will be. You wonder if they could maybe put something together for advertising, being that hey, instead of an ad being $2 million, it'd be $3 million, and you can allocate some of that to the schools because nobody else got nothing to do. I don't know if you follow my thinking on that, but your ratings are going to be way, way, way higher than they originally would be.
I mean, this is coming.
The Memorial this weekend with Tiger Woods. Okay, a Dr. Pepper that they have the highest ratings in the history of the Memorial Golf Tournament. Why? Because people ain't got nothing to do. Number 2, and you got Tiger Woods. I mean, that's a great.
It's interesting. You talk about golf, and of course, people that listen to this show or they listen to Sports Shorts Radio Saturday mornings from 10 to noon on ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge know that I'm become a golf junkie.
Yeah, me too.
And ever, I was already, into golf, but since the COVID struck in mid-March, I've taken it to a whole nother level. And unfortunately, my game hasn't gone to a whole nother level, but my hours on the course have gone to a whole nother level. Tiger Woods in his heyday, and we're talking, 10 plus years ago, in the late 90s and mostly through the 2000s, golf went like this. The interest, the money, TaylorMade was, and when Tiger Woods had his issues off the field and he started getting hurt and all that in the last 10 years, golf has been down about 33%.
Yeah.
The golf business of equipment and clubs and players on the course and all that has gone down about 33% over the last 10, 12 years since Tiger Woods' slow demise, if you will. I think with the COVID and with the fact that golf came back first, it was the first sports back on TV and all that with no fans, and the ratings being what they are, and the interest on the golf course, because, hey, I can get out and play and be 6 feet away from it. I think you're going to see golf have a little renaissance, and it's going to increase worldwide over the next few years.
It's the greatest game ever played. And I can tell you, I suck at it. I'm never going to be good at it. I enjoy. I've been 3 times in the last couple of months with my brothers just trying to burn time. When you tee off and hit a pure tee shot,
it's a great feeling.
There's nothing better than that. But you talk about Tiger Woods, late 2008, he won the U.S. Open on a broken leg, and that was it. That's where he plateaued. Remember, all of a sudden he plummeted in stature because of the affairs and the sex and all this other stuff. And now that he's back, that combination of the greatest comeback story of all time, going to break Sam Snead's all-time 82 record at some point this year. That culminated with the fact that there's nothing else to do. I think you're right, man. I think golf is going, and I love golf because it's a gentleman's game. The respect, the honor. I mean, I've seen these guys in golf, barely touch a putt. Ain't got to tell anybody, right? Go, hey, sir, my ball moved. What a game of integrity. I mean, it's just, I love the game, and like you, I'm even more.
Unless you're Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed, don't like him. And DeChambeau.
You're not a big DeChambeau fan?
Can we talk about DeChambeau for half a second?
I mean, the guy looks like a fullback in the NFL.
How much time we got on this segment?
Go ahead.
Okay, listen, my nephew is a huge DeChambeau fan. Now, the other day, I took some pictures, some befores and some afters.
Right.
And I said, this is
Barry Bonds of golf.
Yeah. I said, now, listen, this dude is horse juicing. You're never going to convince me that this guy went from this to this.
Sure.
And ain't horse juicing. Go look at Barry Bonds. Go look at Sammy Sosa. Baseball been very good to me. Oh, I wasn't horse juicing. Yeah, you were. Dude, you came in, you look like a toothpick. Then all of a sudden, he doesn't even look normal when you watch the guy. His body, it just looks like the Marshmallow Man. Ronnie, I'm a big, I personally I can't stand him. Him and Patrick Reed.
Now, you don't like DeChambeau because you know he's juicing, or in your mind, he's juicing?
Well, I think there's a little bit of that, and he's a little different. He wears that goofy hat.
You don't like that?
I don't like the hat.
The Payne Stewart look?
Yeah, he's got all his gloves. Clubs are the same stuff. And my nephew keeps trying to tell me, he said, listen, this guy's great. I said, when he wins a major, call me. Brooks Koepka, I call him King Koepka, is the best golfer in the world today. Why? Because when it's time to play big boy golf, Brooks has won 4 out of the last 8. Probably could have won 6 out of the last 8. Brooks King Cone Koepka is a dominant one. And Tiger.
We thought Brooks Koepka looked swole in a polo, but DeChambeau.
Oh, he's taking it to
I tell you what, I actually enjoy DeChambeau, other than the fact that he plays golf so slowly. I'm a speed golf guy, and he takes so much time. But the fact that
on him horse juicing, honestly, we were just saying.
I would put the percentage at 80-20. Yes,
he's got some horse in
80-20. Yes,
I knew it.
But the thing is that the thing I love about him is, when he swings, he literally looks like a slow pitch softball player. When he swings, he looks like he's about to fall down.
Oh, yeah.
He swings so hard, and I love that because sometimes I feel that way. But he hits it a heck of a lot further than I do. But anyway, golf.
2 of them 375. Remind me the last time he hit 375. This guy's. I wish I would have brought the pictures. I could have held them up with the camera before and after.
When they had that ESPN special the other day on McGuire and Sosa a couple weeks ago,
Long gone.
It was a really good documentary, and they actually showed Bonds a couple times, like just in the outfield. Like they showed him. They were playing against him and hit on. And it was like you didn't even recognize Bonds. He looked so young and thin and athletic. And then just, 2-3 years later is when Bonds just said, forget it. Shoot.
There's so many. Brady Anderson, all the. Did you watch the Lance documentary?
Brady Anderson was unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, he went from this to that. So
Brady Anderson had 50 home runs, and the year before, it was like, who is he?
Yeah. I mean, and you and I watched that. And you and I can't speak for you, but I left. But when Sammy Sosa with the cork bat deal, when that happened against Florida on a late Tuesday night, cold as a well digger's rump, and that bat split, that was it for me. I've never watched another.
You know who else corked his bat?
Who's that?
It had happened in the minor leagues, and of course nowadays, if there'd been social media and all, you'd see it. Josh Booty.
Really?
Yeah, I played against him, and he played for the Kane County Cougars A-ball team for the Florida Marlins. At the time, was drafted in the first round, 1994, signed for $1.6 million, I believe, which at the time was the largest signing bonus ever for a high school kid. They paid him extra because they 5-year deal, so he wouldn't go play football. And I don't know if it was that first year, second year. At some point, he cracked his bat, and it was corked during the minor league. I think a lot more guys did that than we realized. They just didn't get caught.
And there's some things that we could go back to LSU and talk about things as well. But for whatever reason, DeChambeau has, and it ain't just me. You either love this guy or you hate him. He's one of the most divisive golfers I've ever seen. Normally, you don't get that kind of.
Yeah, people definitely have
strong
either.
Opinion about
for me, when he comes on the TV, I'm hang on, DeChambeau, I want to watch him. And then there's others that are like, forget that guy.
Yeah, so, for me too.
But hey, that's good.
Let me tell you what's happening.
Have a strong reaction one way or the other.
Yeah, that's right. Like the Yankees, I hate the Yankees. Mm-hmm. So when I see the Yankees playing, anybody playing the Yankees, I watch because I want to see the Yankees get beat, and that's just like Alabama football.
Right.
You hate Alabama, but you watch it because you hope that somebody's going to beat them. So DeChambeau, I call him, has that kind of effect, and I think it's going to be great for the game. What's really going to be good when him and Tiger and King Koepka and McIlroy and all those finally bring it all together, and we get a showdown at the OK Corral. That's going to happen this year, Ronnie.
It's going to be good stuff. All right, he's Chad Bluen. You're watching Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino. We're now at LeBear's Casino. The upstairs rooftop pool is 21 and over. You have to stay at the hotel there, but you can have up to 4 people on the rooftop pool, and it's 21 and over, so no rugrats running around making a mess, while you can enjoy your time on the beautiful view overlooking the Mississippi River and have the great bar and service up there as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Can he save that locker room? We'll also talk about some things that Jordy Collado was talking about on his show with Dale Brown and Will Wade, and a little bit of controversy that started last Friday that got Dale Brown and Dick Vitale all upset and everything. That'll be, and plus coming up a little bit later, Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com. You don't want to miss it. Sports Shorts will roll on right after this.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Shorts, presented by LaBerge Casino. Ronnie Rance alongside Chad Bluen. We got Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com that's going to join us a little bit later on in the show. Chad, a big topic of conversation that came in the Baton Rouge area last week. Jordy Culotta on After Further Review, on Off the Bench, which is now Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. He and T-Bob Abear did a great job on ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge. But Jordy Culotta, well known that he's close to Will Wade in that program, kind of said that, reported that there were a lot of rumors and a lot of smoke that Dale Brown was sort of feeding Dick Vitale information coming out of LSU about certain behind the scenes things and an investigation over the last year and a half into Wade and some of the allegations that we of course heard about on Yahoo Sports and others. I know Dale didn't take too kindly to that. He was actually invited to be on Jordy Culotta's show. He refused. He turned it down, the offer. But there were, Dick Vitale came out strongly, in denial of all that. What's your reaction to that controversy a little bit?
Well, Dick Vitale, I've had about enough. I'll be frank with you. I mean, this guy keeps running this pie hole day in and day out. For whatever reason, he's got a hard on for LSU. It happened during the basketball scandal. And he ended up having to eat a little bit of crow. This guy's implied on more than one occasion that LSU's cheating, not just in basketball, but in football as well. So I don't know what Vitale's issue is with LSU. I have no idea.
Right.
Dale Brown stuns me. Brown, normally a class act. I mean, a guy that, you mentioned Dale Brown, you think about a guy that's a motivational speaker. He does a lot of good for the community. I don't know. Maybe there's maybe he fears maybe his legacy's jeopardized by Will Wade. I mean, who knows?
Right.
But we do know Brown and Vitale have a relationship going way back to the 80s and the 90s, and I think it's disgusting. I mean, if you love the LSU program, Dale Brown, why in the world would you want to jeopardize it?
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, at the moment, I mean, he's denying that's happening, and until there's proof that comes out, I would think that.
Well, I think the decline, to me, look, if somebody accuses me of something, right, and I get an opportunity to get a little airtime,
right,
the first chance I get, I'm going to get on there and fight for myself.
Well, I think a simple records request, which I'm sure has been asked for, and we may find more information out in the future, but a simple records request, for certain people's emails and timelines, we'll find out if there's folks over at LSU that have funneled information to Dale Brown. Now, you won't be able to know if Dale Brown funneled that information to anybody else, because obviously he's not over at LSU using their equipment and their emails.
Will Wade is one hell of a basketball coach, and anybody that wants to get rid of this guy, I mean, he is a winner, chicken dinner. I mean, this guy can flat out coach. What he's done with this program.
Let me ask you that. Let me ask you this. I understand that obviously what Will Wade's done in 3 years has been outstanding, right? And he sort of brought LSU basketball back to relevance, and people are excited, and they can play with anybody, and they were on the verge of making back-to-back NCAA tournaments, and I think maybe win a couple games. Could have maybe gone to the Sweet 16, possibly. Again, right. But it comes with a little bit of ooginess, right? Yeah. I mean, there's some ooginess around Will Wade. Where there's smoke, there's fire. We heard his voice on the recordings in the documentary on HBO.
There's some ooginess in Rick Pitino.
But that's my question. My question is that it seems to me that LSU fans are willing to accept the ooginess, because at the end of the day, it's all about wins and losses. And do you find yourself in that category?
Ronnie, if I thought that every major program in the country was running a clean program, if I thought for 1 second that Duke didn't pay Zion Williamson and that all these other big-time universities weren't doing the same exact thing that our little Oogie Will Wade's doing, I would come down hard on him. You know it, and I know it. It's been happening for years, and you and I are big round ball fans. We grew up on round ball. Remember, LSU sucked back in the late 80s and early 90s in football. We had nothing else. You and I were Chris Jackson fans, Shaquille O'Neal fans. We ate, slept, and drank that, all right? Now, I'm sure there was some ooginess going on back then as well. But to play with the big boys, you got to pay the big boys. And there's not a doubt in my mind, not just LSU, but any other university that's winning at a high level has been doing this for years and years and years. And that's why nothing's going to happen to LSU, because if they do something to LSU, they got to do something to everybody in the country. They've got all of them on tape. It ain't just Will Wade. Now, somebody's got a hard on for Will Wade at Yahoo Sports, and maybe that is Dale Brown or somebody else feeding them. I don't know how all that stuff works. But the reality is Will Wade is doing nothing different than what's happening at Kentucky, Louisville, Duke, North Carolina. It's all happening. You tell me with a straight face you don't believe that's happening.
No, I do believe 100%. And look, here's the thing, is that I may be connecting some dots here. And you know, Dale Brown is, I don't know, 80 years old, 81 years old. I don't know, Skip Burtman's 82, actually 81, I believe. So similar in age, okay? The thing about it is that I know that the basketball court is not Dale Brown court. And I know that there's a segment that wants it to be Dale Brown court, and it hasn't happened yet. Will it happen? Don't know. But and I think that you know, but I think if Will Wade were to walk up to a microphone and go, "Hey, you know, the basketball court should be Dale Brown court," no doubt about it, it would happen.
Yeah.
And the fact that doesn't happen, I think, is an underlying little thing here.
And those are the things we don't see.
Yeah. And there's a little it's an underlying thing. If Will Wade wanted it to happen, it would happen. And the fact that it hasn't happened, I think, is something there. But the irony is that, like, hey, don't, you know, the old glass houses comment, you know, don't throw the stone don't throw your stone if you live in glass houses. I mean, Dale Brown's career ended with Lester Earl and LSU getting put on probation.
McFly.
You know, and look, I'm okay with that. Hey, you know, Johnny went to the wrong Exxon, whatever. Things happen. Doctor
you
did
get
the thing.
Chris Jackson, Maurice Williamson out of Massachusetts.
If you Google John Williams, Crenshaw High School, Louisiana, there's an article. There's an article that pops up from the Los Angeles Times in 1985 while he was playing at LSU his freshman year. And in the article, it talks about there were rampant allegations that his mother, names his mom, was given at least $150,000 to take visits to certain schools. My point is that this Jerry Tarkanian said that the bidding got too high on John Williams when people were surprised he didn't get UNLV back then. Well, he said he made a flippant comment to a reporter once off the cuff that once it went over $250,000, we were out.
Okay, I'll tell you what ended it for me as far as sports, and it really just laid to rest any doubts I had. Did you happen to see the 30 for 30 about the great running back that went to Oklahoma?
Marcus Dupree.
Yeah. And
from Philadelphia, Mississippi.
And his mama wanted a double wide trailer, right? And 2 weeks later, a double wide trailer landed up on her. That's the last time I ever believed that. I mean, I said, look, if they were paying that kind of money back then,
1981,
right. Yeah. You know, it's happening rampant. It's happening everywhere. And anybody that don't think that is, you're naive.
Look,
man.
I had I mean, heck, look at Cam Newton. His dad was a preacher.
Oh, yeah.
Money ended up at the church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I remember, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us, but a guy by the name of Gary Ashworth. Gary Ashworth played basketball at Oakdale High School in the 70s here in Louisiana, and then he played at Arkansas for Eddie Sutton.
Wow.
And in the late 70s, and then ended up playing over in Europe. I think he was on like the Supersonics for a year or two. And Gary Ashworth actually coached at Menard High a little bit, and coached sports in Central Louisiana, football, basketball, you name it, over the years. He passed away a number of years ago. Had some substance issues. I was in high school as a 17-year-old, and Gary Ashworth in the late 80s, and Gary Ashworth, 10 years removed from college days, was telling me stories about his recruitment. And he was telling me about how in the mid-70s, Tulane brought him down to New Orleans on a visit. He said they put him up at this awesome place like on Bourbon Street. You know, I mean, this is Tulane basketball in the 70s. Yeah. Not your big-time powerhouse program, right?
Remember Hot Rod Williams.
They put him in a beautiful suite on Bourbon Street, you know, booze, girls, you name it. They rolled in a rack of clothes, like, where he could pick out suits or, he got a brand new wardrobe. And he didn't even go to Tulane. This was on a visit. This was in the mid-'70s, My point is that, like, there's a million stories.
Sure.
We all know it goes on.
So just shut up and let it happen.
Just be quiet. And the fact that this seems like, I hope it's not true, and unfortunately I think we'll find out if there's a records request over time.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a bitterness there that shouldn't be.
I think your point about Dale Brown is so beautiful. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was caught himself. Why in the world, would he, like you said, ye that live in the glass house. I mean, to me, that's just mind-boggling. That a guy that actually got caught doing it would imply or try to do something to defame, Will Wade or the LSU basketball program. If you love it that much, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, man. It's going to be an interesting story to see how that plays out. Ryan, I wanted to ask you about a kid named Ronnie Perkins. You ever heard a kid named Ronnie Perkins?
Well, that name's familiar.
Okay. Played Walker.
Was he a big weightlifting strength guy?
No, he's 19 years old.
Okay.
All right. Plays on my softball team, Ronnie. Last night, I'm bringing this up.
Like, you're playing softball?
Yeah, I play softball. Yeah.
Wow, look at you.
So this
what
guy,
position?
A shortstop.
Oh, wow.
So this guy
must not be a very good team. Let's be honest.
No, I don't play short. I play first, man. But anyway, this kid last night hit a softball about 400 feet. And over the light, it was the natural light. I'd only ask you that because he played shortstop and could throw it about 97 miles an hour from shortstop.
Or it just seems that way.
I mean, this guy's got a pellet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wondered if you'd ever heard of this kid. He played at Walker.
No, but I mean, like, let's face it. Your reputation is a little shady. You're the king of exaggeration. You just told me he hit a 400-foot homer and he threw it 97.
It felt like Ronnie.
Listen, come on.
I just wondered if you'd ever heard of him, man.
No.
Jalen Perkins. Yeah. Google him, man.
Yeah. All right, good.
Google him. This kid,
where's he playing? College ball?
Well, he plays at Mississippi Junior College, I think.
Good.
And went to Walker, and just wondered if you've ever heard of the guy, man. Because I know you coach baseball.
Promised him you give him a shout out on
man, no. He doesn't even know.
One last topic before we let you go. Drew Brees. We had a lot of controversy a couple of months ago. Obviously, it's been all quiet on the Western Front right now because they haven't gone to training camp yet. But I mean, the story's going to buzz back up whenever they finally do get together and start practicing again. Drew Brees, you talk about a guy that went from the White House to the outhouse in 2 seconds, okay? Greatest reputation of any player in the history of the league, and all of a sudden, bam, just like that, to a large segment of the population, he's, persona non grata. He obviously wants to play another year, or he'd have just pieced out and walked off in the sunset and said, let my record speak for itself. He's back for another year. Can he salvage this year? Can he put it all back, the genie in the bottle? Can that locker room be okay? Can he be the leader of that team anymore?
Well, first of all, the fact that we're even having this conversation is a little strange.
It's unbelievable.
It's a little strange. I mean, where have we got? Just mind-boggling to me. Can he win the locker room that he lost for standing up for his country? Are you kidding me? Can he win it back? Well, I mean, it's like I say, it's a bit preposterous that we even pose this question.
But it is what it is.
But I think Drew Brees, who from a integrity standpoint may very well be in the upper 2% of all sports. All sports. I know you said, but Chad exaggerates, but I'm telling you, all sports across the board. Who's done more for people in the city of New Orleans than Drew Brees? Who's done more for kids than Drew Brees? I think he's got enough credit in the bank. I think he'll be just fine.
But that's for you. That's not for the other 48 guys in that locker room.
I think the other 48 guys in that locker room have enough skins on the wall and have seen enough out of this young man to say, hey, look, Drew, we forgive you. For what? I don't know, but we forgive you. It's Ronnie, these are some strange times, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, when all that was happening, and you can run down Drew Brees and run this cat through the and I don't know who's off limits now. Who?
Yeah.
Who's got? You give me one guy in sports that has more integrity than Drew Brees. I'm talking about more. They might be equal, but give me one off the cuff
that has more integrity than Drew Brees. I don't know that there's anybody that has more integrity.
Would you say
the
Mannings? Peyton Manning?
Well, he had the scandal with the whole. It showed up the FedEx package. Yeah, that was his wife's.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of somebody that
HGH, not his.
Yeah, sure, whatever, Mark McGuire. But the thing is I'm trying to think, and you and I, we're sports connoisseurs. We can't think of one guy. Give me one. Give me one guy in the same class as Drew Brees.
Morstead. Thomas Morstead's well thought of.
Yeah, the punter. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay. The point is, I mean, if this guy's not off limits,
right?
Where are we at as a society? Where are we going?
Right.
It's mind-boggling, man.
He's Chad Bluen.
But before you run, honest question: Did what he say offended you?
It did not offend me personally, but in how he said it and the week that he said it was a bad look.
You think the timing was bad?
The timing was terrible, and he kind of came across in a tone wasn't perfect, and that's just trying to be nitpicky. Obviously, it didn't offend me as a person, but I get it. I understand how a segment of the population reacted the way he did, but absolutely, I 100% think he deserves a hall pass. Chad, good seeing you. He's Chad Bluen. He'll be joining us from time to time. We'll be back. Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com, plus a video of Ben McDonald, some comments he had. We'll talk to Mike about it relative to the COVID situation. Will LSU play in front of fans and whatnot? Plus, we'll talk recruiting. All that's coming up next on Sports George, presented by LeBears.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports George, presented by LeBears Casino. Ronnie Rance here alongside Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com, the owner and editor of TigerBait.com. Also, before we get started, I want to tell you about the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Our Hall of Fame induction banquet, which was always, that weekend is always the last weekend in June, has now been moved to middle of December 15th, 16th, and 17th. The likes of Nick Saban and Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia, Kerry Kittles, and many, many more will be getting inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Tim Brando receiving an award as well. All that will be in Natchitoches. For more information, go to lasportshall.com. December 15th through 17th during the Christmas lights, which is the most beautiful time of the year up in Natchitoches. The whole city is lit up in Christmas lights. Don't want to miss it. Got a lot of great events for you to come be a part of. Also, our golf tournament will be at the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles, October 4th and 5th. You can get all that info at lasportshall.com. Joining me now, Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com. And, even during the COVID, no rest for the weary, right? I mean, LSU football has been out there on the recruiting trail. Their numbers keep going up. They're up to 16 commitments already for this next year's class, which is pretty incredible considering it's a downtime. You can't really work, have camps. I mean, how are they making it happen?
Well, I think it's actually given them more of a focus on one. They would have been out anyways for the spring evaluation period in May, and of course they would have had recruits on campus throughout spring football practice. Spring game is always a big visit day for prospects. Regardless of their year, they'll have 2 or 3 years of recruits there. But they also didn't have the travel time. So they weren't on the air going to, different states. They were having high school camp.
Right.
So they were on the phones. They were on Zoom calls. Ed Orgeron on Zoom calls. And I've been saying over and over, I think it was an advantage for LSU with what they came off of, the months long of leading into the NFL draft.
Yeah, basically they're resting on their laurels of last year, and obviously they won the national championship.
And I think they've gotten an extension on it. If you wouldn't have had COVID, people would have, somewhat have turned the page.
Right.
And you wouldn't have gotten the bounce last week in the viral moment of all them getting the rings. And,
right.
I mean, everybody's just starving for any morsels of information in the college football world or in the sports world, period, that they're getting a lot more focus and bang for their national championship dollar.
This recruiting class right now, granted, it's got a long ways to go. Each one, how many slots are they going to fill? Is it going to be 25? I mean, is that the goal?
They'll get a full class
They'll
of
get a full
25.
class?
They're under, 80? They're like 77, 78 right now. So, yeah, it'll be a full class.
So when you kind of go through this process, there's always a certain amount of, okay, let's say LSU gets 25 commitments. What percentage do you give for people flipping and changing their mind? Is it a 10%, 15, 20%? Like you expect 3-4 guys every year to flip at the last minute?
I look at LSU's list and it's like, okay, who is a possible flip? I know there was some scuttlebutt a few weeks ago that maybe JoJo Earl, the wide receiver, was a guy that was getting a lot of pressure. But I think he's firm. Could there be a couple? Possibly. But I also wonder, if we get through COVID and unofficial and official visits open up like normal or somewhat close to normal, are we going to have the same percentage of the recruiting class sign in December, or we're going to see a bigger percentage wait until February because they need more time? Mm-hmm. Last year LSU went into August with right at 20 or maybe 21. I mean, it was like, what did they have left? I mean, there wasn't much left before the football season even started. So now they're at 16. I thought they'd be in the middle teens by August, but they could end up being 17, 18, 19 before Labor Day. So, but then you've got kids out there. You got the Shield Taylor at Alexandria Senior High School. He's a guy that they'd like to see possibly get an offer. He's getting offers from all over the country. You got the Langlois kid at Catholic Point Capee that's turning heads. Jacques Doucet did a big story on them last night in their normal reports they do at high schools. And I know they're really paying attention to him. They like to see him in the fall. But how much would be left on top of the kids that already have offers? You got Mason Smith down at Terrebonne, got Sage Ryan at Lafayette Christian, got Brian Thomas at Walker that everybody's talking about, it, particularly after Chris Hilton committed a couple of Fridays ago. So now the attention turns to him. And then out of state, obviously they need, 3 more offensive linemen. They're going to have to go out of state to get them.
Of the 16 players that LSU has commitments for at the moment going into this next recruiting class, is there a clear-cut best of the group?
Well, I like the linebacker out in California, Davis. Nussmeier at quarterback is obviously a big draw because he's going to bring other kids into the fold. They're all good. I mean,
why will Nussmeier bring other players?
Just because he's a leader kid and he's very active in recruiting other prospects. Just outright impressive. The day he committed, he had his commitment video produced locally, and I reached out to him and said, "Look, I want to beef up my commitment story on you. I want to get some, get some more quotes from you." And he goes, "How about I shoot a video for you?" And he just turned on his cell phone and started talking to his camera. I gave him my login to upload the video, and I mean, he was just like a pro.
Wow.
And it's like, went into looking into his camera saying, "This is why I chose LSU." And it was like an exclusive for Tiger Bait.
Wow.
It was like, not many kids that age, have
that sharp.
Yeah.
Tell us about Davis, the linebacker out of California.
Well, look, he's one that.
Do remind you of somebody?
No, but he's just, can play several linebacker spots, can run. They all can run, all the linebackers in this group. And he's another one that, when they're talking about why is the Pac-10 struggling and look at all the SEC draft picks, he's the type of kid that they're moaning about. USC's hoping to flip him. I don't think they're going to have any success. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago and he kind of laughed at it. People were suggesting out west that him and Corey Foreman, the number one defensive lineman in the country, arguably, of course, locally we think Mason Smith, but a lot of people thinking that Davis could be flipped to USC and would stay out west. And he said to me, they need to be more worried about winning some football games. He's not
right.
And he's, along with Nussmeier and several other kids, are helping recruit other national prospects at LSU.
Somebody, one or two players in this class that are sleepers, that aren't necessarily getting the stars or the love, but you really like.
Man, they're all highly rated. It's like, I guess the punter, Peyton Todd at West Monroe, he's fun to watch. I went and filmed him at Ash last year.
How good is
Yeah, I mean,
he?
it's kind of odd to see a punter, and then, then he goes on defense as a linebacker and he's out laying the wood to people. And he's 6'5", 230. I think he's fantastic. Punters are never going to get their ranking in the services, but we gave him a 4-star on Tiger Bait.
I want to bring this up because I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about it. LSU football, college football in general, whether they, I like I said earlier in the segment with Chad Blue, and I think they're going to play games this year. I just think that's probably going to be without fans, especially in the big boy conferences where they can afford it because the TV contracts are so big. But where are you on this whole COVID situation, whether they should play with fans or without fans? What's your thoughts on it right now?
Why is college football the lone sport that's getting the media attention, national attention, woke center? WNBA starting in a week or two, Major League Baseball, the NBA.
But with no fans.
NASCAR's got, they're going to have 30,000, what's the track in Tennessee? This weekend? NFL's going to play. So every sport's moving forward. And why is that? Because they've got someone at the top saying we're playing, whereas college football's a mess and you got every conference.
You got, 22 different commissioners
right.
or whatever the number is?
And I'm sure, I don't know the political bent of even at LSU. Does Scott Woodward have a mindset that's different than the interim president? Is there several coaches on the staff that maybe are feeling a little bit different than others? Vice president in town, does that change anything? It's going to be interesting to see, but they met yesterday. I don't know if you're hearing Sankey quote Andrew Cuomo, if that gives anybody that's hoping for a college football season much hope.
Well,
and how much is he overruled by the university presidents anyways? Is he just the guy that says this is our verdict because it was a vote amongst? I mean, it's not like he's going to overrule all the university presidents.
I can't imagine that he's going to overrule the university presidents.
And it's all about It's $350 million.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they want the money, and so, like I said, if they've got to make the decision to put the players in a bubble, like they're doing in the, basically now, like they're doing in Orlando with soccer and basketball and everything else, then so be it. They'll put them in a bubble and they'll play without fans, but they got to get some of the pie if they can't get all of the pie.
Yeah, I was told on Friday they wanted to play a full season regardless. So if the Big 12 and Texas drops off, if they can fill that
pick
spot,
up a couple extra games.
If they can, grab a McNeese or a UL Lafayette and throw them on the schedule at the last minute, they'll do it.
Yeah, I think at this point you can't worry if you're LSU or any of the SEC schools about postseason, bowl games, playoffs, all that kind of stuff. It's about dollars and cents. It's about getting games scheduled, played, get that check. Get your players the look, the experience, and let the rest of the stuff take care of itself.
And the nuttiness about saying they're going to play winter football or they're going to play
spring.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to have 2 college football seasons in 2021.
Want to get your reaction to this. Former LSU great Ben McDonald, of course, who works for ESPN and SEC Network, put this video on social media a couple of days ago, and of course has some theories about the COVID situation. Here's Ben McDonald.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
We hit the wrong button there, but here's some comments from Ben McDonald on this whole COVID situation as we talk about fans in the stands or not. Here's some Ben's thoughts.
Good afternoon. It's warm down south, I can tell y'all. Certainly, it's a good day for the skinny people, no doubt about that. COVID Project 4991 is underway. Weed eat around the pond. Wifey, look, I got her on the mower right now. And no, she has not run it off in the pond yet. I think I may cut around the pond just to prevent that from happening. But I'm not complaining because she's helping me. I'm on this weed eater for about another hour. Anyway, I wanted to share something with y'all. I know 6 people personally that filled out the paperwork that went in to get their COVID test done. And either one or two things happened. One, they ran out of tests, or the line was too long and they decided to go home. So none of these 6 people that I know actually got the test done. And do you know that 3 or 4 days later, by email, they got emails telling them that they had tested positive for COVID-19. Now, I'm not saying this is not serious, because it is, y'all. But these numbers that we are getting, I don't know if I'm buying into them, because if that's going on just around here, imagine how much of it's going on around the country. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I don't think the numbers are what they saying they are. Now, I'm still saying we got to wear a mask, we got to be smart, use common sense, social distance, and all those things. But y'all, let me just tell y'all, the world is not ending, and we're going to get through this, and everything's going to be fine. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Hey, and don't forget, 8 o'clock Central Time, the best show is coming on. I'm going to change clothes and get my vest on, but Yellowstone comes on again tonight, so be sure and check it out. Talk to y'all later.
There's Ben with some thoughts. You know, a lot of people kind of feel that way, that some of this is politicized. Some of these numbers are not always 100% accurate. I saw a thing that came out where they had 140 new cases last week, but then nobody got better, which that's impossible. So I don't know where the athletic directors, the presidents, the commissioners fall on all this. I think you're going to have different leagues do different things.
Yeah, and then it falls, like you said, it's political. If you start pointing out the death rates versus the new cases, then all of a sudden the woke crowd comes after you. You're not allowed to do that. There's no doubt that some of the numbers don't add up. We've been seeing that for months, where people, because if you go in and you get tested and you get tested, positive, and then you go back a week later to see how you've progressed, that counts as 2 positive tests. I mean, they've been doing that all the time. And of course, they say they're going to, audit that and get the numbers right. But how accurate is that? Then you hear the statistics of it. Yeah, if you're under 30 years old, you've got a higher chance of getting struck by lightning, dying of a lightning strike than a COVID death if you're under 30, and it's even more if you're under 20. So, and that's when we get to the college football thing and these players, putting them at risk. Well, that's fine, but it's more like the Sam Naders and the Baglios and the Bill Johnson.
The staff that's older.
It's the
right.
staff that you worry about. And so I get it. I get that part of it.
Obviously, you spend a lot of your time in the fall with high school football and following recruiting, watching tape, going to games. There's some talk right now, the Louisiana High School Athletic Association, they don't know, right? They don't know if they're going to play this fall. They don't know when they're going to play this fall. They don't know what it has to look like from a governmental standpoint from the governor, John Bell Edwards, what level we're at. It came out that I think people were a little surprised in the last day or two to find out that the LHSAA is making it so that we have to be pretty far along in the state back to normalcy before they allow high school football. We're talking about LSU playing with no fans, but it doesn't sound like that would be the case for high school football.
And I know the LHSAA commissioner was getting lit up yesterday with what they put
Eddie
out.
Bonine.
But it was almost like, but it's not him.
Wasn't his call, yeah.
No, it's like,
executive committee.
He's at the mercy of the governor.
And he's following the advice he's getting healthcare-wise.
Yeah, you have to go to phase 3 and phase 4. It's not like he can say, well, no, if they're still parked in phase 2 in the middle of August, they can say, oh, well, too bad, we're going to start practicing, we're going to play. But I'm going to be curious to see what happens in Mississippi. Because Mississippi, they always start their high school season
a week earlier.
Yeah, they're 2 weeks ahead of this year. So what are they going to do? Because that means if I think their first regular season game is the 21st.
Really?
They're starting practice soon.
Yeah.
If they haven't already.
It's going to be interesting. You go out to a baseball field in the summer right now. You go to any of the ballparks. You got USSSA and all these leagues and everybody playing baseball. You got fans in the stands. It's as if nothing had ever happened. So if we can play baseball and we can have fans, we can have grandma and grandpa and everybody there. Why can't you play football?
This morning I'm reaching out to a local coach, football coach, high school coach, looking for some information. He goes, hey, can I call you back? I'm coaching a youth camp right now. Mm-hmm. This stuff's still going on.
It's strange because it's truly like college football, where for the Ivy League, for example, they're going to move their season to the fall. To the spring, which for them it doesn't matter.
They don't pay for scholarships.
They don't have any scholarships, but yet you got some parishes that aren't allowing schools to practice and whatnot. Tell the folks what you got going on at TigerBait.com.
TigerBait.com. You need to check us out. We want to have you if you're an LSU fan. The site's overflowing with information daily. We flipped the front page, and we've had an incredible last couple of months of new subscribers. And you can always go on and get on for $1 for a week trial period, and we want to have you.
Only $1 to try it for a week. Mike, thank you so much. Thanks to Chad Bluen, who joined us earlier on Sports Shorts. Have a great week, everybody. Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel